Now today we are going to talk about self-consciousness. So this is actually our journey, the journey of self-consciousness. And we said yesterday that the feeling of self comes, the sensitivity of self comes when attention starts moving inside, right? So now we'll take that building which we talked about yesterday. So this is the building, and we are going to start our journey from here. Now at this point, we have a body-brain system that has come to us from evolution, right? It has passed through what you call the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, and so the cells in this body-brain system, they are still very animalistic in nature, right? And at this point, the divine comes to meet, because the divine comes to meet the body-brain system. So the body-brain system has come from evolution and the divine has descended into the body-brain system. So two things have met over here. That is the descent of the divine, Avtaran, and the Utkranti, the evolution of the body-brain system. Now, we want to make this return journey of consciousness, and we are starting over here. Now, yesterday, what was the vestige of the animal kingdom which comes into the human body-brain system? What did we talk about yesterday? No, all plants, all animals, they respond to external stimuli. So attention goes outside. So when man is gifted with a human body-brain system, and that human body-brain system has a divine fragment or an Atma, right? There is this vestige of the animal kingdom that even though he is gifted with free will, that is the will to what you call control attention, even though he is gifted with the possibility of taking attention inside, he lives his whole life with attention going outside, right? It's very few rare individuals who embark on this journey of sending attention inside. It's a rarity, right? So what has happened? He has just lived what has come from the animal kingdom. That is to react to every event in life, right? So every event in life which we come across, it seduces our attention and takes it out, and this is the way we live. We live from 0 to 70, and that's the end of our life. Now, we are going to divide this journey into different steps. If we, study the Yoga Sutra, the Yoga Sutra says, Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Avastha means a step, a situation, a condition, right? So, the drashtu has been given to us as the Atma. The drashtu has been given to us, and we go up avastha by avastha. The last sutra in the Yoga Sutra is drashtu pratishtanam. From drashtu avasthanam to drashtu pratishtanam. This is the journey of yoga. Now, who can tell me how is that journey accomplished? How is that journey accomplished? What does Patanjali say? How do you accomplish this journey of yoga? And this journey of yoga he gives us in two things. He says one part of the journey is chitta vritti nirodha, calming of the mind. And second part of the journey is drashtu avastha to drashtu pratishtha, right? Two parts. He divides the journey into two parts. So with every level, there's a level of chitta, right? And with every level, there's a level of the seer inside, right? And both are moving ahead. And he says, how is this journey accomplished? What is the effort put into this journey? You were talking about the Yoga Sutra. How is this journey accomplished? How is this journey accomplished? What are the two words he uses? The two words he uses. Abhyas and Vairagya. Abhyas and Vairagya. Right? That's the later part of it. Right? So he says the two efforts are what? Abhyas and Vairagya. Abhyas is practice, effort. Vairagya is to leave something. Now, when we take this journey step by step, what would it mean? What would it mean? What would it mean? The effort to move from a lower step to a higher step is abhyasa, and that which keeps pulling us back to the lower step to drop that to what you call don't get seduced by that is called as vairagya. Simple, right? Okay. Now, so here at the first step, we have something called reaction. Reaction, right? And we have something called our lower psychic nature. Our lower psychic nature. That is the hangover from the animal. Hangover from the animal. Right?
So I had a question.
Yeah, please.
So when we say Vairagya in general life, we leave the world, like worldly things. But here Vairagya means leaving the good habits that we have and we are being pulled down, like on a negative side.
Okay. Yeah. Let's take it in a different way. The, what do you call, the ordinary meaning of Vairagya is to wear orange clothes and leave the world. Yeah? But that is not the meaning of Vairagya. That which takes me towards yoga, the practice of that is abhyas. And that which takes me away from yoga, the leaving of that is vairagya. Right? We'll keep it simple. Right? So that which takes me higher, the practice of that is abhyas, and that which pulls me back to a lower step is vairagya. Right?
I didn't understand it. Vairagya is pulling you back?
No. That which pulls me back to leave that. Huh? That is a part of it. That is a part of it. See, at the first level, our aim is to be free from reaction. Reaction. Automatically, mechanically, like machines, responding to external stimuli. Right? She called me a fool, I reacted. Right? So you don't come on time, I react. Right? So this automatic reaction is a vestige from the animal world. We've not learned anything as human beings as yet. Right? So the first thing is to be free from reaction. Now, what is it that keeps us in reaction? What is it that keeps us in reaction? Animal nature. Animal nature. That is our negative emotions. Negative emotions. So let's classify our negative emotions. Let's classify our negative emotions. Right? All of them come under the nature of reaction. Now, what is this? The first common factor in all negative emotions is reaction. What is the second common factor? What is the second common factor? No, it's a common factor.
Anger.
No. Everything is related to I. Everything is related to I. He insulted me. He treated me badly. Right? She did not come on time. Everything is related to I. I, ego. Huh? Instead of ego, we'll use the word self-love. Right? Self-love. Right? Ego. So, everything rotates around I. And if I is not satisfied, if I is in dislike, right? And if I is hurt, then I reacts. I reacts. Can you see this? And this is automatic. This is mechanical. Somebody criticizes me, whether I say it outside or I say it inside, I react. Right? So the lower level is full of what we call as negative emotions. Negative emotion. Anger is a negative emotion. Jealousy is a negative emotion. Self-love is a negative emotion. What other negative emotions? Can you tell me one negative emotion which wears white clothes, which wears orange clothes? One negative emotion. Justification is a negative emotion, right? One other negative emotion. Huh? No. Which looks like a positive emotion. Which is a negative emotion, but looks like a positive emotion. Huh? It is a form of pride. Definitely it is a form of pride. Okay. Self-respect. It's connected with this. Okay. How many of you remember the nursery rhyme? Little Jack Horner sat in a corner eating his Christmas pie. He put in his thumb, pulled out a plum. What did he say? What did he say? Huh? You don't know the nursery rhyme? He put in his thumb, pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." What a good boy am I. Right? So, feeling of meritoriousness. Feeling of meritoriousness. Oh, what a good thing I have done. Right? And in the end, whatever good things we have done, all we have done is we've pulled out a plum from the Christmas pudding. Right? These old nursery rhymes were very, very, what do you call, deep. Right? So, this feeling of meritoriousness. You give a donation somewhere, there's a feeling of meritoriousness. You help a friend, there's a feeling of meritoriousness. You're talking about your sadhana to somebody else. I get up in the morning at 4 o'clock and I do this and I do that and I fast on these days. Everything is feeling of meritoriousness. Right? I go to temple, feeling of meritoriousness. Right? So feeling of meritoriousness is nothing but self-love. Right? But to play the game of life, because young children, you have to, give them a feeling of meritoriousness, then they make they try to move somewhere high, to encourage them, right? And then that goes on till we are a little old and all that. So to play the game of life, how will we take this feeling of meritoriousness? How will we take it? I've made one rule over here. That you're allowed to eat one chocolate. Right? The second chocolate gives diabetes. Right? So, supposing this talk gets over and you say it was a very good talk. I'm not telling you to say that, right? But supposing you say it's a very good talk, then I have that feeling of meritoriousness for a second. I allow myself to eat one chocolate and I drop the second chocolate. Right? Because otherwise it goes into ego. Otherwise it goes into self-love. Right? So one negative emotion which we what do you call, have to be very careful about is feeling of meritoriousness. And whenever we have achieved something, we get this feeling of meritoriousness. I have done something. Eat one chocolate, you have done something, and drop the second chocolate. Don't eat the second chocolate, right? Okay, tomorrow we are going to talk about the Mooladhara Chakra. I think in the next 3 more days it'll take me to explain the Mooladhara Chakra. Anyone can tell me the basic quality of the Mooladhara Chakra? What is the element in the Mooladhara Chakra? Right? But how does possessiveness come about? What is in the Mooladhara Chakra? The element of earth, the earth. And earth means gravity. Earth means gravity, right? So the basic quality of Mooladhara Chakra is Lobha. Lobha means greed, possessiveness, right? And how does it activate? Because of gravity. Because of gravity, right? And gravity means I am automatically pulled to certain things. I'm automatically attracted to certain things, right? And if I don't bring my consciousness over here, I don't come in between over here, then my attention will be seduced. Gravity will pull me down. So, on the first rung of the ladder is our animal nature. Nature, right? Negative emotions, right? And we are, every time we will try to rise up, because of this, gravity will pull us down. Gravity will pull us down, right? Yeah, we talked about attachment yesterday, right? So we said that attention gets seduced, and instead of attention going back, it gets attached. It gets attached to what you call objects or vishay of the physical world, relationship world, and the mental world of thought, right? And if we want to take attention inside, then we have to realize that attention is, because attention is attached to all these things, consciousness gets attached. So consciousness gets attached to the objects of consciousness. And we want to free consciousness from the objects of consciousness. Right. Okay. Now we said this is the journey of self-consciousness. So our first step is we pause the reaction. Pause the reaction. And reactions come from morning to evening automatically. Whenever we react, we've been immersed in the sleep of life. We are identified with life. Gravity has pulled us down, right? And we are at the lowest step of the ladder. Now, yesterday we talked about 4 functions: thinking, feeling, sensing, moving. 4 functions. And when we were in the second state of consciousness, sleep or nindra, what you call second state is swapna, so psychological sleep, we were using these 4 functions. But as we move into a higher state of self-consciousness, how do we use these 4 functions? How do we use these 4 functions? How do we use these 4 functions? Thinking. We are living the same life, same thinking, same feeling, same sensitivities, the same moving, right? Now, I'm going to rub this out and we come back to this. Now, if my attention is going out only, then thought has seduced my attention. So, in which state of consciousness am I? The second state of consciousness, sleep. Man is a machine. I'm in the state of sleep. Now, I want to move from the state of sleep to the state of self-consciousness. And now we are moving on the journey of self-consciousness. So what is the same thinking? Now what do I have to do? What do I have to do? And we said nothing can work till we come into the present moment. We talked about this yesterday, so I'm not going to go into that. Now what do I have to do to my attention? Yes, I have to divide my attention. Divide my attention. So, one part of attention is working with thought, right? And one part of attention moves inside. About approximately what ratio would we divide attention? Approximately what ratio would we divide attention? 9 to 1. Right? So 90% of my attention I will concentrate upon thinking. So it does not upset my life. I'm doing the same things in life. Right? 10% of attention on the feeling of I thinking. Right? Till now I was only thinking. Now there is a feeling of I together with the thinking. Am I coming across with this? Am I coming across in this? Right? It is this feeling of I which is God. It is called presence. It is called presence. Am I coming across in this? Yeah. Okay, just now we'll just sense the body. Sense the body. Sense you are occupying the body, like you're occupying a hotel room. Feel that something. Now, that feeling of that something occupying the body will be a very dim feeling just now because you're not practiced. Right? But try to hold that. Now, try to talk to me at the same time, holding that. So just now you asked me a question, were you holding that? No. Right? Now ask another question. But have a feeling of self asking the question. Try it. Try it. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? Right? What has happened? Now 90% of your attention is on the question or asking me the question. 10% of attention you're holding inside, feeling this is the person who is asking the question. Can you get? There is a feeling of I questioning. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? It is a kind of, you're sitting on the chair, there's a sensitivity of the chair. Right? Feel the sensitivity of the chair. Right? Now again go inside, feel the sensitivity of the person who is in the body, who has come for these 70 years to occupy this hotel room. Feel the sensitivity of that person. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. You have to practice, right? But suddenly you will feel an inner sensitivity. I in the body, right? I in the body thinking. Now to do this, what did you do? Divide your attention. You have to divide your attention. One arrow of attention on the thinking and one arrow of the attention on the feeling of self who is thinking. Right? Can you get it? Is that the beginning of self-consciousness? Right? Till now you were just thinking. Till now you were just thinking. Now supposing your son or daughter comes in front of you. From thinking you have moved to feeling, right? son, daughter, friend, right? Now, in feeling, it is a little more difficult to hold than in thinking. It is a little more difficult. Okay, now just visualize that your son is in front of you. Visualize. I hope you have a son or daughter? Huh? Daughter, okay. Visualize. First, again, go back and feel yourself. Feel yourself. Right? Hold it. Now, visualize your daughter in front of you. Right? So, there's a movement of feeling inside. Now, you're holding that feeling of self and you're feeling your daughter at the same time. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? Okay, now we go for a walk in the garden. Right? So we are in moving. And moving is the easiest because it is something which the eyes can see. Thinking is not something which the eyes can see. Feeling is not something which the eyes can see, but moving is something which the eyes can see. Right? Okay, so now visualize yourself walking in the garden. Visualize yourself walking in the garden. And you're walking and just a feeling of self. I am here in this body and this body is walking and I am looking. Right? Okay? What have you done? You've divided your attention. I won't take sensations just now, but you can do it with the sensation. You're sitting on the chair, feeling of chair, sitting on the ground, feeling of the ground. It is a little cold, there's feeling of cold, little warm, feeling of warmth. Again, divide your attention. I in the body, feeling cold. I in the body, feeling warm. Right? Now, this can't be done initially all 24 hours. It's going to take a long time to come to that state of all 24 hours. Can we do it for 20 minutes every day? Can we do it for 20 minutes every day? Huh? Yeah, 3SRB will help. But I want you to do any, activity for 20 minutes. If, say, you're cooking a meal, reading a book, going for a walk. Like I said, the easiest is going for a walk because you can see yourself moving. Right? You can see yourself moving. So initially, if we practice with that, so you're walking in the garden, I walking in the garden. I walk and hold that feeling of self. And it's very difficult because for thousands of years we've been habituated to throw attention only outside. So to hold that small arrow of attention inside, right? How many of you have read the Mahabharata? Have read the Mahabharata? Okay. You also, it's more than enough. You watch the series. Watch the series of Mahabharata. Excellent series. Excellent series. Yeah? And the person who wrote that series was a spiritually very, very profound person. Very profound person. Right? And so when does Krishna see Arjun for the first time? When does Krishna see Arjun for the first time? Swayamvar. But what is he doing in the Swayamvar? The target is up, he is looking down. He is dividing his attention. Can you see how the Mahabharata is giving indications everywhere? Right? So, what is the way to meet the divine? Dividing your attention. By dividing your attention. Right? And the divine is nothing but self. Divine is nothing but self. Right? So, the first thing, we are given these 4 faculties. Thinking, feeling, sensing, moving. And we use those faculties in life, we use those functions in life, and now we use them in a different way. And please start with 20 minutes Don't try to do it the whole day. Start with 20 minutes, preferably when you go for a walk. That would be easiest. When you're practicing three-step rhythmic breathing, take out 5 minutes, 10 minutes of three-step rhythm, where you're sensing yourself doing the three-step rhythmic breathing. And as you practice the three-step rhythmic breathing, this divided attention will become very, very easy, because to practice three-step rhythmic breathing, we have to divide attention on music and breath. There is an automatic division of attention over there, right?
We can do it with idol worship also. When idol is we are looking at idol.
Yeah, but there is a science behind idol worship, right? So you can do it with the idol, and try to, now we'll sidetrack if I talk too much about idols, right? But try to hold that idol inside. Try to hold, yeah. Try to hold the idol inside. What happens when you hold the idol inside? When you hold the idol inside? What happens? Yeah.
Your mind takes a picture of the idol.
Yeah, but how? Yeah.
When you hold the idol inside, it's like you are also becoming the idol.
Right.
Okay? And when I'm doing my worship and I'm becoming one with the idol, it's like I'm not even the human body anymore.
Okay.
I don't feel my body.
Okay.
I feel the idol. So that's why I want to ask you my question.
Right.
If we are going to do this thinking, feeling, moving, and sensing,
We'll keep sensing a little bit on the side, right?
okay? If we are going to do that, if I'm going to do it while I'm doing my worship, then I will not be myself. So my attention will not be divided because I will be completely immersed with the idol. So should we actually do that when we are doing worship with the, and I don't want to say idol, I literally say deity. When we are before the deity, should we even do that one? Because you will become completely immersed with the deity, at least I am. I'm asking you that question.
Yeah, I got the question. Okay. Let's take it in another way. Let's take 2 lines of time. Yeah?
Yes.
Write later. Yeah, write later. One is the horizontal line of time. Okay? That is my line. Say, let's take this as my line of time from birth to death. Birth to. Now, this line of time, birth to death, what is it made up of? Present moments. Present moments.
Only present?
Yeah, the mind connects those present moments and makes the line of time.
Okay.
Right?
If we are at time A, point A, and you are now looking at point K, wouldn't that be the future?
It is the future. What I'm trying to say is this movement from what you call past to future is made up of small dots called present moments.
Okay, integration.
Wow.
Okay, thank you.
Right? It is made of small dots. What is a present moment? We can go into something later on.
Okay.
Right? Now, in this present moment, each present moment, I have another possibility. to rise in consciousness or to fall in consciousness. Right? In each present moment. So, consciousness is not a part of the present moment. Consciousness is not a part of the present moment. But to rise in consciousness, I have to be in the present moment. Right? So, this machine of mine, the body-brain system, right? The body-brain system, which is never in the present moment, it is always before or after the present moment, because it is always thinking, and thinking is memory, right? Okay. So there is not a single moment in the day when it is free of thought, right? And to be in the present moment, I have to be free of thought, right? I have to be free of thought, right? So I have to do something like worshipping. I go into the idol, you say. So in that moment, you are free of
thoughts.
right?
Okay.
So you are in the present moment. But in this present moment, now you want to rise in consciousness. The present moment is only the beginning. It is very enjoyable because we've never experienced a state without thought. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? So you have to sacrifice a little bit of the enjoyment of the present moment, take a little bit of attention out of the present moment and hold it on presence. Hold it on presence. Presence is not the present moment, but the way to presence is through the present moment. Right? So now each present moment is cut by another line of time, which is vertical time. Which is vertical time. We live in which time? Horizontal time. Right? But each moment of horizontal time is cut by, this is the meaning of the cross. This is the meaning of the cross. Right? Now, in this vertical time, as you hold your presence, and initially when you hold your presence, it will be a very dim presence, right? Because a small memory that I forgot this will take you out of the present moment, right? You're no longer in the present and the presence is gone, right? So each moment we first come to the present moment, then we hold our presence. That is, now presence comes from a higher source. It descends. There is a descent because presence is divine. Presence is God. Right? So each moment as we hold our presence, we are taking steps towards God. So in each of these present moments, we rise higher into a different time. Now try to understand this. Supposing in this present moment, I have risen a little. I have risen a little. That is, I have moved up in consciousness, I have held my presence, and presence is beyond horizontal time. Can you get it? So one day I'll die. But if I'm holding my presence does not die. Right? So, I come into the present moment, I hold my presence, and I rise in the present moment. Right? Now, supposing I die over here, and I come back and I bring another line of time, there is no connection between this. But every moment that I've had of consciousness, there's a connection between this line of time and that line of time. Can you understand? So in that line of time, wherever in this line of time I have been conscious and held presence, something will awaken me in that line of time.
So this a vertical line of time.
Yes.
Is that the
That is consciousness. That is the steps to consciousness.
but is that the rising of the Kundalini of the Sushumna?
Ha ha ha. Don't mix up everything.
Okay.
Mix up everything, right? In a way it is. In a way it is.
This is microphone.
Okay.
Right? But I'm not going to talk about Kundalini.
Okay.
But in a way it is, but the Kundalini can be forced to rise even without, okay, I'll just explain it in a different way. But you understood this.
I understand that.
You understood this?
Yes.
Right, okay.
I did have a quick question for you. You know, in physics, when we have the x and y axis, we will have one axis, which will be our time vertically, and then we will have the next axis be our distance, right?
Right.
So here, we are having two axes, which are both time. So my next question is, because both axes are time, does this mean we are talking about a different dimension? Because we are not even in the same dimension. The time is different.
Okay, we'll take this x-axis, right? Supposing I'm looking at an ant, and the ant is coming from there. I can see the past, future, and the present of the ant. Right?
Yes.
Okay? So for the ant, it is still, the ant is moving from past to present to
Future.
So for the ant, it is time. For me, it is? For me, it is?
I'm sorry. For the end, it is time.
For me,
you,
it is?
Distance?
Space.
Space. Ah, okay.
Can you get
Akashic.
it?
Yes, Akashic.
Time of a higher dimension, the lower dimension becomes space.
Oh, thank you.
Can you understand?
Yes.
Supposing I'm sitting on top of a hill and I'm watching the highway.
Yes.
The car is over here, but I know the car after a few minutes is going to be over
There.
here because I can
Yes.
see the past,
The present, and the
future
future.
of the car.
So all of this is space.
Now, if I'm in the car, it is time. But sitting on top of the hill, it is
Space.
space.
Thank you.
You get it?
Because you are the
So-
observer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good. You got it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So now, when you do your worship,
Yes.
you dissolve into the present
Present.
moment, but there
Of
is
the-
no,
Thought.
there is no,
No thoughts.
there is no
Present.
presence.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. Now again, this is a complicated issue. It's a little complicated, but that you've come to this. Supposing I come into the present moment, right?
Yes.
Like when you're worshipping, he may be listening to some music, and when you're listening to music, suddenly in some moments of music it comes, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is you've suddenly experienced the present moment. And that is why. It is not because of the music. The music is instrumental in bringing you to the present moment. You understand?
Yes.
Or you're observing a sunset, and so beautiful, right?
Yes.
For a moment you come to the present moment.
Moment.
Now, if you try to remember in the present moment to divide attention, then it is no longer the present moment. So there has to be a spontaneous division of attention in the present moment. And that is why you have to practice outside of the present moment
Thank you.
to divide the
Attention.
hold the presence. And that is why it's very important to practice the three-step rhythmic
Breathing.
So as you practice the three-step rhythmic breathing, as you come into the present moment, you will automatically divide the attention. You won't have to remember, because if you remember to divide the attention, then you've lost the present moment. And that is why it's very important to practice the three-step rhythmic
Breathing.
right?
Yes.
And then if you've done that, and there is this spontaneous division of attention in the present moment, you feel yourself. So just now what I'm telling everybody is, when you're thinking, feeling, sensing, try to make that division, try to feel the self, try to hold the self. Then moments will come when you're really in the present moment, and that division will happen spontaneously, and your inner journey has started. The inner journey can only start from the present moment. That is when you rise. It cannot start in this line of
Horizontal.
time. Anything I do in this line of time has no effect on my inner journey.
Okay.
Right? I may change my clothes from white to orange. I may go into the jungle
Thank you.
and live what you call next to a stream and try to, what you call meditating on the stream.
Yeah.
Anything done in horizontal time is always done for tomorrow. It cannot change. To start your journey, you have to come into the present moment. And there, because you have practiced dividing attention for a long time, your attention will divide spontaneously in the present moment, and you will start moving up the ladder of consciousness.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. I'll go back to where I was. Is it clear? Yeah.
It's very clear.
Now I've given you one level, reaction, right? Reaction. Now slowly we are getting free of reaction. What would be the second level be? What would the second level be? Now, see, what is a common factor in all reactions? What is a common factor in all reactions? Aggressiveness. Aggressiveness, right? So, if we are still aggressive, then we are still on the wrong path somewhere. We are still on the wrong path somewhere, right? Aggressive about anything, even aggressive about the truth. You cannot be aggressive about the truth, because the minute you are aggressive about the truth, it is no longer the truth, right? Okay. Now in this lower nature, we get what you call seduced into our animal reactions, our animal nature, aggressiveness. But not only that, we may also incite other people to aggressiveness, right? We may incite other people to violence, right? So my insulting her is not just I am becoming an animal in insulting her, but if she insults me back, I am becoming a cause for her to insult me back, right? So I am inciting another person. And this is a quality of the lower ego. Quality of the lower ego. Now, the second step is the ego now, instead of blaming others, it blames itself. It blames itself. Now when we talk about yoga, abhyas and vairagya, right? We have achieved one step, right? And we are moving to the second step. We should not again get stuck on the first step, that, oh, I'm free of reaction and this is enough, right? We have to do now vairagya of that step and move to the higher step, right? So till now, my ordinary nature was I always found fault with others. I was never at fault. I could never commit any mistake, right? So now suddenly that takes an about turn, right? And I say I am at fault. And the ego becomes a self-blaming ego, a self-fault-finding ego. And this is the stage which we call the awakening of conscience, right? And conscience is the first step to communication with the inner guru. Now, at our level, what is conscience? What is conscience? At our level, what is conscience? Conscience, later on in the Yoga Sutra, we can call as Vivek. Supposing I've hurt somebody, I say something to hurt her, right? Now at that moment I don't realize what I'm saying, I've just said it mechanically, automatically. Huh? No. Now, if I, okay, I will, because it can lead into guilt. I don't want it to lead into guilt. What is the point of conscience?
Awareness?
Yeah, you have to be a little aware, but what is the point of conscience? Where it? No, I've hurt her. I've hurt her, right? Now I realize that I've hurt her. What is the first thing that happens inside?
Who? Her or you?
Me.
I should not have done that.
It's a Gujarati ma apne ke, I don't know if you understand Gujarati. Apne ke mane dankhu joye. So what do you call that? It should prick me. Huh? No, guilty is you're moving in the wrong dimension.
More like repenting.
We see when it pricks us, we mechanically move into guilt. We want it to prick us and we want to move into consciousness. Can you understand now what I'm trying to say? Yeah, but it has to prick. Jem, the needle pricks me, right? That point where it pricks me, oh, I have hurt her.
Pain.
Huh? Yeah, there is an inner pain, there is an inner prick inside. In Gujarati, we call it mane dankhe che. I don't know what you call it in you don't have the exact English word for it, right? Huh? It must.
No. The word is prick.
It prick. Yeah.
The word is prick.
It has to prick me inside. If these things don't prick me, if it don't, then there is no way I can move on the spiritual path. If nothing pricks me, that point where it pricks me is the beginning of conscience. Normally, I will go into guilt. Oh, why did I do it? And I should not have done it. And it was a bad thing to do. And I'll never do it again. Of course, I'm going to do it again tomorrow. Right? So that is guilt. That is guilt, where I just blame myself. I gather energy again to do it tomorrow. That is guilt. I don't want to go into guilt. I don't want to go into guilt. I want that to hurt me. I want to use that hurt to rise in consciousness. I did this because I was asleep. I did this because I was unaware. I did this because it was just happened. I lived mechanically. I'm a machine. Can I get out of being a machine? Right? But if I go into guilt, then I'm just making the same patterns inside, the same mechanical patterns. And if you'll see many people, they have this habit of hurting somebody, going into guilt, again gathering energy, tomorrow hurting somebody else, again going into guilt, again gathering energy. So guilt is a negative emotion. And from guilt, the lowest negative emotion is self-pity. 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 Right?
So what happens when you hurt somebody but you are not even aware of it, that you have hurt somebody?
Then you can't do anything about it. You can't. But if somebody makes me aware of it and it pricks me, then I have that space within me where I can awaken conscience. But if some people, they are so dead that even nothing pricks them. Nothing pricks them, right? Then they can't do anything. You can't do anything.
Prick is the beginning of viveka.
Viveka. Prick is the beginning of viveka. Beginning of viveka. Right? So it has to hurt me somewhere. It has to hurt me somewhere.
Almost like a realization takes place.
Self-realization.
It is a realization, but there should be no condemnation.
Okay.
Self-condemnation. Self-condemnation is guilt. Then that which I was doing to others, now I am doing to myself. The same thing mechanically. Right? So that does not have any place over here. Thank you.
Isn't that awakening?
Hmm?
Like the brain, isn't that awakening?
It's the beginning of awakening. It is a kind of awakening, definitely. Right? Now, in this moment, to hold that prick to hold that state, what we call as dharana, right? I want to be in that pain as long as possible, right? I don't want to express that pain, oh, I did something bad or I did this. Then I'm throwing the pain out, right? I want to live in the sensitivity of that pain, because the sensitivity of that pain is opening a faculty within me which is called as conscience. Conscience. The ability to see what is right and what is wrong. The ability to see what is right and wrong. That is conscience. Please understand, right and wrong is not moral right and wrong. Right? Moral right and wrong.
Consciously right and consciously wrong.
Right. Right and wrong in that which leads to a higher state of consciousness is right. And that which leads to a lower state of consciousness, it takes us into the sleep of life, is wrong. That which leads us to a higher state of consciousness is virtue. That which leads us to a lower state of consciousness is sin. Right?
Yes.
So, in the Gita, leading to a higher state of consciousness is called as sat. And that which leads to a lower state of consciousness is called as asat. Right?
Yes.
So, when we are on the spiritual path, it is not right, wrong as morality. It is right, wrong as in sat and asat. Right? Now try to understand this. Krishna tells Yudhishthir that you have to speak a lie. You have to speak a lie. Right? Why do you have to speak a lie? Only by speaking a lie can we kill Dronacharya. Right? Only by speaking. So speaking a lie is morally wrong. But spiritually right. Can you understand?
Yes.
Right? So, in a certain situation, by not speaking a lie, I may hurt her. Right? So, I may speak a lie not to hurt her, not to cause her any discomfort in any way. Right? So, here we are not talking about morally right or wrong. There are many people who say, I only speak the truth. That is all ego only. Right? Dissolving the ego is sat. And increasing the ego, whether you speak the truth or not speak the truth, if it is a part of the ego, is asat. Now is it clear what I'm trying to say?
Quick question.
Yeah.
But if we are talking from the observer and the person who is experiencing. So if you are going to tell the lie, so it can be conscious virtue, but for the individual that you told the lie to, they will not awaken. They will probably still stay in the same presence, and maybe because they were told a lie, they will still continue to do asat, right? But if you happen to tell them the truth to help them, wouldn't that also bring them to sat and not just yourself?
Okay. See, Vivek, the power of discrimination, conscience.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I will not tell her anything unless her window is open.
Why?
It's not right.
State of mind.
Because it is like telling a machine you wake up. Can you tell a machine to wake up?
But the machine doesn't have the ability to have consciousness, and the human being does.
Yes, but a human being is mechanical. As long as he or she is mechanical, she is identified with the machine state.
Yeah, but in the future, if you tell them the truth, even if they don't accept it at that moment, you have planted the seed, so when it is going to be time for them to awaken, they can remember the seed which you have given them.
If you want to plant the seed, you have to plant it in a way without hurting the other person.
Okay, correct. Okay.
You have no right to plant it by hurting the
But
other
person.
person.
Thank you.
So that is why I said the window has to be open.
Open.
If the window is open, I am willing to listen to the truth, then you can tell the truth. Right? You can't tell the truth to a person whose window is closed. Right? You let him be a machine.
Even if it's your own children?
Huh?
Even if it's your own children?
Even if it is your own children, you have to tell them in a way in which you don't hurt them. Right? See, I have brought up 2 children. Okay? Never once have I ever had to get even aggressive with them about anything. Forget anger. Right? Whenever I saw something, I would look at it and I'd say, okay. Next day I would call my son after 24 hours and say, sit down, can we revisit this situation? And what did you see in this situation? I would awaken his intelligence.
Okay.
Right? But at that moment, if I told him that this is not right, what you're doing, then it's going to hurt him. Unless it is an emergency.
Okay.
Unless it is an emergency.
Okay.
So the right way is wait 24 hours, call the child, sit with the child. Right? And a better right way is that before you become a mother and father, practice 3-step rhythmic breathing. Right? And
Okay.
practice for 1 year, both the husband and the
Wife. Okay.
and say we are going to have sex only for children. Not sex for personal pleasure.
Okay.
Can you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Sex only for children. This
Children.
year we are only going to have sex for
Children.
children.
Okay.
Right? Make that this thing.
A conscious.
Right? So when you have sex devoid of excitement, right?
Yes.
And when you're doing the 3-step rhythmic breathing for a long time,
Okay.
then the child which will come, you won't have to tell that child many things.
Okay. Because
Right.
the consciousness would have. Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Suppose you're a son of parents, and you've done something wrong.
Who has done something wrong?
Let's say I've done something wrong,
Right.
but my parents don't know. So in that case, in order to protect their peace, would it be better to not tell them in order to prevent them from going into a downward spiral of emotions? Or
See, the problem with telling whether to tell anyone, right, is that by telling we share the pain. Right? And we want to transform that pain into tapa, into austerity. Right? So that pattern, I have done something wrong because of an inner pattern. I am a victim of an inner pattern, sanskar. Right? And I want to use that pain to create heat to burn that sanskar. Right? Now if I tell somebody my problem, my sorrow, then the heat is going to reduce. Can you see? Then I'm sharing it with someone. Then there's no heat left inside. If that heat is not there, I can't burn the pattern which is causing that. Now, this is called as conscience. Remorse of conscience, right? The Christians call it as repentance, right? You burn in that. You burn in that. The minute you tell it to somebody, you're no longer burning in that. Can you understand? You want it to prick inside, prick inside, prick inside, and it opens that inner space of conscience. And in that burning, you're free of that pattern. You're free of that. There's freedom from that pattern. Right? In the end, what pulls us down? It is memory patterns, sanskar. Right? So, then you can tell it. Then you can tell it. Right? But many people immediately they can't hold on to the pain. They can't hold on to the suffering. They quickly go to what do you call
Counseling, therapy.
whatever, and then you're not using that pain in the right way. You're not using that pain in the right way. Yeah. I want to go to conscience. Okay, please go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
it was very beautiful. I understood that. Thank you.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, I said thank you. It was very beautiful.
Now, try to understand this, that as this conscience starts opening up, it will start prompting us from inside. It will start prompting us from inside. We'll start hearing its whispers. It was already whispering previously, but because of the noise in our mind, we could not hear those whispers. Now we'll start hearing those whispers. And this is the first point where the outer guru has taken us to the inner guru, inner teacher, right? Now, the first sutra in the Yoga Sutra is Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Anushasanam means the structure of yoga. The structure of yoga. And at this point, once the inner conscience starts opening, we will, because he's saying Atha Yoga Anushasanam, Anu means to follow, from this moment in my life, Atha, from this moment in my life, I will only follow the teachings of yoga. Now try to understand this. Now we are going to act according to the teachings of yoga. Now, if she says something and I get angry, am I acting according to the teachings of yoga? No. Can you understand? So, now at this point, we are going to put our personal desires, our personal will on the side and say every moment in life I'm going to refer to yoga. What does yoga say? And I'm going to implement what yoga says in this decision making of life. Can you get what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yes.
Right? So, till now I was mechanically acting in life. Now, in place of, because the conscience is not yet opened, in place of life I am now putting the teachings of yoga. The teachings of yoga. And there must be an intellectual understanding of the teachings of yoga. Right? So one of the teachings of yoga is, I'm just giving an example, to give an example, is that we want to kill the false. We want to get rid of the false. Okay, now I'm going to ask a question. When we use the word I, how much is real and how much is imaginary?
When you use the word I, then I would say that all is imaginary. Because really there's no I.
Yeah, that is a theoretical way of putting it. I want you to put it in an example. Put it in an example.
Okay, let's say.
Right?
Many people would say I got up this morning, or I awakened this morning.
No,
okay?
No. This I has three parts. The real part, the relative part, and the imaginary part. So now what is yoga telling me? What is yoga telling me? That the imaginary part has to be killed. The relative part has to be acted properly. And the real part has to be experienced as I.
Okay.
Can you get what I'm trying to say? Now my son comes in front of me, there is a feeling of I. This I, is it real, relative or imaginary?
Relative?
Relative. It is relative to the situation. Relative to the situation. Right? But I earn a lot of money, right? And when I use the word I, because yesterday I did not have any money, today I have a lot of money. Does it change my tone of I from yesterday to today?
Yes.
What has happened? What has happened?
Pride and ego and that feeling of possessiveness that he or she
Yeah, but what has happened? That in this feeling of I have included my bank balance. Can you say? When I say I, there is a sensitivity of my bank balance also in that I. Am I coming across in this?
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So now I have moved from the real to the relative to the imaginary part. I so much money. Okay.
Because you have now unified yourself to the imaginary part, which is the money in the bank.
In my eye, the real is very little or nearly zero. There is no relative just now. So it is all
Bank.
imaginary.
Imaginary.
Okay, now let's take another part. Supposing I get a degree and I will come first or second in my university or something, and I get a degree and I'll get so many prizes and all that. So tomorrow when I'm going to use the word I, is that PhD in that I or not?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Can you understand? Now this has to be observed. My I is now moving into a very imaginary part of life. Right?
Yes.
So my I is composed of three things: real, relative,
Relative and imaginary.
imaginary.
And we are calling it imaginary because it has nothing to actually do with the vertical time of consciousness. That's why it's imaginary.
In a way, right?
Yes.
But it gives me a feeling of I which is not real.
Yes, which is not a.
I PhD. Can you understand?
Yes.
It is taking me so far away from my feeling of real I. Can you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
I so much money.
Right.
It is taking me so far away from my feeling of real
Real.
I. So when we are using the word I, what do we mean? Supposing tomorrow I become the president of some club. You know, they have all these clubs. They have the Rotary Club.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I become president of the Rotary Club. Right? So I'm talking to you, I did this. But in that, when I use the tone, in that tone of I, am I including club?
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
get? So all this is the imaginary part of I.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes.
So we have to divide our feeling of I between the real part, the imaginary part, the relative part and the imaginary part. By observing. You observe your own tone, right? So yesterday I made a lot of money and I put that money in my bank, right? And you see, there's a confidence in my eye when I'm talking to you, which is the reflection of that
Bank account balance.
bank account. Can you? Right? So there I pause. I don't want my money to come in my eye.
Yes.
Right? I pause. And this is consciousness. This is awareness. Can you see? I'm right.
Yes.
So this is the self-blaming I. The self-blaming I, which realizes that I'm moving into wrong ground, right? It pauses over there, right? Money is there, definitely. Money has its usefulness in life, right? There is something about money, but I am not money. I am.
Come on.
No,
Thank you.
right?
Yes.
So you pause I at imaginary I.
Yes. Now this imaginary I, where can it go to? I'm going to touch on very controversial ground, but where can it go to?
That imaginary I, because it is imaginary, it will go to a sut.
No. To what height can it go to?
Oh my goodness, it can be very big.
No. Supposing I say I am Hindu, I am Christian, I am this, I am that. Is it imaginary I or not?
Yes, it's imaginary.
Can you, right?
Because it's not who you are.
See, to feel your real I, you'll have to drop all the imagination. Otherwise, you'll never be able to feel the real I.
Come on. Thank you.
Yeah.
Supposing I'm looking in the mirror in the morning after a shower or whatever, how is that also the imaginary I? Let's say I'm looking at my face, I'm looking at my body, my arms. is that the imaginary I as well? And how do you separate from that?
See, it's a long journey. It's not something which will happen overnight.
Right.
Say you put a timer in your watch or in your phone, right? And that timer rings, say, 5 times a day. And each time the timer rings, you take out 1 minute. So you have to take out how many minutes in a day? 5 minutes, or if it rings 10 times, then 10 minutes in a day. And you sit in one corner or sit anywhere and try to sense yourself just as if you are a being, you are not a becoming. If you are a son, you've become something. If you're a father, you've become something. If you have money in the bank, you've become something. Can you understand? But just totally naked inside, just to be, I am. Just the sensation, close your eyes, and for even not even 1 minute, not even 5 minutes, even 30 seconds will be more than enough. And you do that for a few times. And as you practice this over 3 months, suddenly there will be a feeling of I am. And I am, and this I am is not a father. It has no relative, this thing. It is not a son. But it is, the minute it becomes something, it becomes a father, it becomes, and this practice is a very powerful practice. Very, very powerful practice. Where will you go? Tell me, where will you go if you do this practice? Where will you go? Where will you go?
Consciousness will be rising.
See, a child is born, right? And it has some inner sensitivity of I. Some inner sensitivity of I. Then on the 6th day we name the child, right? We name the child. And the child has to respond to that name. Right? So then you go to school and your name is called out in the morning, yes, I'm present. Right? And if you don't want to be present, you tell one of your friends, put up your hand for me. Yes, I'm present. Right? Okay. But then that I is the feeling of the name. But there was a feeling of I before name. Just to be. Can you see? The name you have become. Right? But there was a feeling of I before name. Just I am. It is not even I amness. It is just a pure amness. Just there is a state. Can you understand? So if you practice this 5-10 times in a day, just sit silently, right? Drop all your thoughts and just a feeling of I not as any relative I, as a son or a father or anything, not feeling of any imagine, oh, I have got so many degrees or whatever, right? Or imaginary I, and just hold that feeling of I. And slowly you'll go beyond the name and you'll experience that feeling of I which was there before you were named. Before you were named. And that is a feeling of amness. I am. Just am. Feeling of amness. It's a beautiful feeling to have. Suddenly all the jewelry has dropped. All that you have gathered from outside has dropped. What you really are, what you came with, right? And there's a sensation of that. There's an inner sensitivity of that. Right?
Is that I still body-brain system or outside it?
Huh?
Is it still their body-brain system or outside it?
It is within the body-brain system. It is within the body-brain system. There's a feeling of I in the body-brain system. A feeling of I in this room. Right? So it comes down to the same thing. The feeling of I, thinking. The feeling of I, feeling. The feeling of I, moving. It comes back to the same practice, right? So, I mean, in the end, these are just different ways of saying the same thing, right?
Just there's one person that I knew. He never will say I. He will say so and so did this. So without saying the word I, you will say Mr. So and so did something.
Very good practice.
Okay.
But don't make it a habit. Right? Do it for 3 months. Huh? Do it for 3 months. Excellent practice. Avoid using the word I as much as possible. Right? And so there will be a separation from imaginary I a little. Right? But don't make it a practice. Right? Otherwise that amness will also become an imaginary I. So there are many of these gurus who talk about themselves in the third person. Right? They made a habit out of it. They made a habit out of it. Yeah, please.
Since we've become so used to associating ourselves
I can't hear. I can't hear.
Since we've become so used to associating ourselves with labels, wouldn't it be hard to achieve the feeling of amness?
If somebody can just
She's
repeat
saying
the
that
question.
since we are
Since
we are surrounded by so many false labels, wouldn't it be nice to remove all these labels and feel the real I am? Will it be hard to remove the labels?
See, the imaginary part we want to remove. Right? Just keep a little, because we have to play the game of life. We can't run away from life. Right? So we need a little imaginary part. If you've got a job, you need your degree for your job. Nobody's going to give you a job without a degree. Right? So there you need it. So you say this is just that part which is needed for my job. Right? And my job is just my role in life. Everybody has a separate role in life. Right? And I'm playing that role in life. Right? And that job gives me enough of what you call comfort, financial, so I can do my practices to rise in consciousness. My aim is not my job. My aim is to rise in consciousness. But that does not mean I'm not a good player in my job. Every day I become a better player in the job. Right? So there is no seriousness in the job, but there's sincerity in the job. Right? I'm not carrying the job as a baggage, but there is gratitude inside that I have a job and that job fulfills my needs and gives me enough to live comfortably so I can do my practices for a higher state of consciousness. Right? See, many people are dissatisfied with their job. They don't realize it is just an excuse for them to be able to practice for something higher. You understand what I'm trying to say? It is just your role you're playing in life. The director cannot give everybody the role of the hero or heroine. Somebody has to be a side heroine or a side player, right? Or somebody has to be a villain also, right? So the director can't give everybody so whatever role you have, you be grateful that it gives you enough time to do your practices, right? Because if you're struggling for the basic needs in life, right? If you're struggling for the basic needs in life, how are you going to find time for practicing for higher states of consciousness? So the very fact that some job, something is taking care of those, not just basic needs, I'll say comfortable needs, not luxurious needs, but comfortable needs being taken care of, then I'm thankful for that. There's an inner gratitude. It gives me time to do my practices.
So she has a label as a daughter. So that label will.
Huh?
She has a label that she's a daughter.
Yeah.
So that label will stay.
No, she'll understand that label, that behind the daughter she is a soul. The soul has come as a daughter. Right? So she'll play the role of the daughter also, but beyond the daughter she's still something else. That amness. Right? You see, when you rise on the mountain, and you see that you have been a daughter and son thousands and thousands of times, it really does not have any meaning. Suddenly it drops over there. Then you're just playing the role. Our thing is we lack consciousness. So we don't see that we have been a son, daughter, father so many times. We have played the same role so many times. And we've been identified with that role. Right? Suddenly the identification will break.
I would like to know, you said not luxury, but I would like to know what is your definition of luxury and why not luxury?
No, that I leave it to your own inner conscience. Right?
Okay.
No, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
No, these are things which we should listen to because we don't realize so many things in life. And see, when you make your first move towards consciousness, right? You have listened to your inner divine whispering to you and it has pushed you on this path. You have gone to some teaching, you've gone somewhere,
Yes.
and you've taken the first step
Yes.
on the path. Now, on this path, we want to give more and more attention to the practices which take us higher.
Okay.
Which take us
Higher.
right?
Yes.
So that does not mean we ignore our job and ignore everything. So it would be nice to lead a comfortable life, right?
Yes.
But we don't have to pay too much attention and energy there from a luxurious life to a, what do you call? From a comfortable life to a luxurious life. Can you understand?
Yeah.
Be comfortable. Now, whatever is your comfortable, your definition of comfortability, I leave it to you,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
See, for me, comfortable may mean having a small car and going from here to there. But for somebody else, comfortability may be a Mercedes Benz. But that is different. I'm leaving it to you.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, I
Right?
understand.
But lead a comfortable life. But rest of your attention, time and energy you spend on your practices so you can rise above the dream of life. You can wake up from this dream. It's not so easy. It's not so easy. It's hard work. Right? I've been 7 years with one guru, 6 years with another guru. I know. It's very difficult to live with a guru. Right? He would wake me up in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock. Here is a spade. We have to make holes for planting trees in the garden. So from 2 in the night to 6 in the morning, I'm digging holes. Can you understand? Right? And there is no reaction. There's no reaction, outer or inner. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm sharing with you, I have gathered with great pain and effort. Right?
Sadhana.
I'm sharing it with you so that you all are able to achieve the same thing in a more easy way. In a more easy way. Right? So I'm just giving it to you in this way. But you divide your life into your needs, your comforts, and your luxuries. And as a hobby, have 1 or 2 luxuries, but rest try to remain on the level of comforts.
On the relative part of it,
Right.
we have to balance these roles, right? Could you give some tips on that? The
In what?
relative I. The imaginary part we understood, all the labels, identities, and whatever we acquired through the body machine. The relative part is playing the roles in the life. And for playing the roles in the life and also advance in consciousness, there has to be a balance, right?
Exactly.
So what are some tips for that?
Be a good player. Good player. And the first quality of a good player is that he or she does not react. Does not react. Second thing, he makes space inside for something from the higher to tell him what to do. Here I'm saying yoga anushasanam, the what you call edifice of yoga. So use the edifice of yoga in the initial stages till our own conscience does not speak to us. Right? Yoga has everything in each situation what to do. What to do. Can you get it? I don't know if you've studied the Gita a little.
Yeah, I did.
So in the first chapter of the Gita, there is a description of all the warriors. Can you see? Duryodhana is telling the warriors on his side, right? And from this side there is a description of the warriors on the Pandav side. Now, each of these warriors is nothing but what to do in what situation. The whole thing is there. If you can understand those 2, 3, 4 slokas, right? That tells you to what in every situation in life what has to be done. Then you don't have to use your intelligence. You use the intelligence of yoga. And over a time, as conscience awakens, then the conscience, your higher intelligence will start speaking to you. Not the lower mind, the idiot reasoning mind, not that mind. The higher mind will start speaking to you. Right? So, just those, if you take those 3, 4 slokas, right? It will, what do you tell you, everything that has to be done in the, what do you call, life. See, I think the first warrior he explains the yuyudhana. Yuyudhana. Dhan means dhyana. Right? Yuyud means dhyan on the war. Dhyan on the inner conflict. Attention on the inner conflict. Can you get it?
Yes.
So, in each situation, he'll give you what to do in those 2, 3 slokas of the Gita. Right? And they must be mastered, those 3, 4 slokas. They're so important, those 3, 4 slokas. Right? I don't remember because it's years since I talked on the Gita, so I've lost complete contact. But that gives you a sort of panorama of what has to be done in life. Right? Okay, I think our time is over. Tomorrow I'm going to take the Mooladhara Chakra. Right? I have not been able to complete this, but I think you've understood what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Any other questions anyone has? Now I won't. Any other questions? Yeah.
Can we email? Sorry. Can we email aforehand questions that we will have concerning the Mooladhara Chakra?
No, you've not listened to the Mooladhara.
What do you mean?
He's saying you're coming in with preconceived notions. First, listen to what he has to say.
Okay. Okay.
I'll just give you a sort of this thing. There's a lot written on the chakras. There's a lot written on the chakras. And this is my personal thing, which I'm going to talk about from tomorrow, is what I have gone through personally. I'm not going to take it from books or this thing, even though I take the help of books in explaining it. Is that, you see, the chakras are in a different dimension of time and space. Right? And they are only half there. The other half has to be created by us. I don't know if I'm coming across in this. So, supposing one chakra is related to the adrenaline in the body, the adrenal glands, right? So that part of the chakra is active. But there's a higher part of the chakra which is not active. Not active. And that has to be created, right? When you read about the chakras in all the books and everything is created, okay, right? I mean, it's given to you on a dish, which is not true, which is not true. So, right? So I have still to see one book which authentically talks about the chakras,
Okay.
right? I have not yet seen, and I've read them all, right? So I have still to see one, because they are talking as if everything is there. Everything is not there. Just a basic platform is there. The basic necessity to look after the physical body-brain system. The rest, if you want to move into spirituality, has to be created by you.
And that is, when you are saying created, that's when the Ida and Pingala are coming up, the Shushumna. That's what you are saying.
I won't have time this time to talk about Ida, Pingala and Sushumna.
Okay.
Right? We'll have to keep it for another time, but I'm going to talk on the Muladhara chakra.
Okay.
Right? And what keeps the Muladhara chakra into disharmony, takes it into disharmony. Right? Like we talked about Lobha today, possessiveness, greed. Right? So there the chakra is moving not in rhythm and balance,
Okay.
in what do you call chaos.
Yes.
Right? How to bring it into rhythm and balance. In that you have to be free from greed, right? And then what are the higher properties which can be acquired through a chakra in rhythm and balance?
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to talk about that. Hopefully I want to talk on
Petals.
the second chakra, that is Swadhisthana.
Sthana.
So if I can go a little fast tomorrow, if there are no too many questions in between, right? Because I have only 3 more days.
Okay.
And why I'm saying this is that the Swadhisthana chakra is the chakra which is involved with the pleasures of life,
Okay.
with the enjoyment of life. So I would like to at least finish 2 chakras in 3 days. But,
Okay.
so if possible, but I don't know. We may finish 1 only, but I would like to, so that, you know, I can teach you the sounds of the Swadhisthana chakra and teach you how to awaken the power to enjoy life deeper and deeper. So, but from Muladhara, I have to progress to Swadhisthana. Right? So if you will allow me tomorrow, right?
Okay.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.